saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our on-stage reunion?
Keeps getting closer to the person who killed her friend. She is on a mission and she is not backing down, and holy ish, why isn't all this stuff all over the news?
Breaking news, and this time, it's not about politics, not about drama. It's about betrayal, silence, and the price of truth. 48 hours before Charlie Kirk lost his life, he said one line that still haunts the people who heard it. "If I disappear, they did it." Those weren't random words. Those were a warning, a cry for help that nobody wanted to hear. Because behind Charlie's smile, there was a man drowning, cornered between billion-dollar deals, hidden donors, and a system that demanded his silence. And when he refused, everything started to fall apart. Candace Owens, the only one still fighting, says she has proof. Private chats, leaked recordings, files that connect Charlie's death to something much bigger. But now, she's under a gag order, her career threatened, her safety at risk. And then, there's Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, the one person who should have been his safest place. But why is her name suddenly showing up in documents she refuses to talk about? And just when you think it couldn't get darker, Dave Chappelle steps in. The same man who once ran to Africa, now whispering the same words. "They're trying to silence me too." This isn't a conspiracy anymore. It's a pattern. And tonight, we're connecting every they never wanted you to see. Charlie Kirk was never the same after that night. The man who once lit up stages with laughter and fiery speeches, who inspired thousands to believe in freedom and America's promise, was now trapped in a maze of betrayal, fear, and unrelenting pressure. Just 48 hours before his life was cut short, he confided in a few trusted people that he felt trapped, suffocated by a system he had once championed. Charlie had been a titan, yet even titans fall when the world conspires against them in silence. He reached out to Candace Owens, not as a celebrity to celebrity, but as a desperate friend to a fearless truth seeker. He told her, "I cannot let them bully me anymore."
I didn't know what to do other than to scroll through messages between me and Charlie, regarding which there are a ton of them. And kept going back and watching the video, the many videos of us dancing to the song Power. And it felt appropriate to reach out to Ye, speaking about things, talking about his mode when he wrote the song. You know, when you wrote the song Power, why did we have it as our hype song? Because the song is about the ability to find it within yourself to become what you know you are capable of becoming inside of a matrix, when you just realize everything is dishonest, that him and I, because this feels very relevant right now. This is, again, lyrics directly from the song Power, but I just needed time alone with my own thoughts, got treasures in my mind, but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me. Taking my inner child, I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. And that's a moment where he is really speaking about how hard it is. Like when you're saying, no, this is what I believe. And they say, you're not allowed.
I cannot play their game. I refuse to bow to money, to donors, to threats disguised as advice. If I do, everything I've fought for will crumble. These were not empty words. They were a cry, a warning that the storm was coming. And yet, no one saw it brewing, except Candace. Meanwhile, his wife Erica Kirk, a figure shrouded in suspicion and quiet authority, watched the world around her shift like sand beneath her feet. Could she protect him? Or was she just another player in a game she could not fully control? Her presence was electric, charged with unspoken intentions, and her every action scrutinized by those who had the power to manipulate fate. She could have been his shield or the architect of his undoing. And then there was Dave Chappelle. Though miles away and decades removed from his own trial by media and power, his story echoed through the corridors of fear and betrayal that now surrounded Charlie. Chappelle had fled to South Africa to save his life when the pressures of money, fame, and control became too great. His parallel was a chilling reminder. History repeats itself when the powerful refuse to bend. Charlie's final days were a tapestry of whispered threats, secret meetings, and digital evidence that Candace meticulously gathered. Leaked group chat messages revealed a man cornered by a $2 million donation pulled because he would not compromise his beliefs. Each word he typed reflected both courage and desperation. "I will not be bullied," he wrote. "I will stand, even if it costs me everything." The weight of those words, seemingly small on a screen, bore down like stones on the hearts of those who knew him. Candace, unwavering in her pursuit of truth, pieced together a timeline that no one else dared speak aloud. The FBI's narrative, the donors' manipulations, the media's half-truths, they were all part of a web designed to conceal the horror that was quietly unfolding. Candace knew that revealing this story could put her own life in jeopardy. Yet she pressed on, driven by loyalty, justice, and the raw human need to honor a fallen friend. The night before Charlie's death, his anxiety was palpable. He confided that he felt targeted, cornered, and possibly doomed. His words were chilling. "They're coming. I know it. And if something happens to me, you will know who they are." Those who heard him dismissed it as paranoia, but Candace could feel the gravity, the terrifying accuracy of his fears. And then came the silence. The world awoke to the shocking news. Charlie Kirk had been assassinated. His life ended in a way that made no sense unless one understood the storm he had been weathering. Candace's heart shattered, but her resolve solidified. She would uncover the truth, layer by layer, exposing the lies, the manipulations, and the betrayal that had led to this tragedy. Charlie Kirk's story, Candace's mission, Erica's shadowed intentions, and Dave Chappelle's past all converged into a narrative that was more than news. It was a warning, a revelation, and a tragedy rolled into one. And as the world watched, some cried, some questioned, and some turned away, unable to face the depth of the manipulation at play. But Candace knew one thing: the truth would not be silenced. The first part of the story is just the beginning. It is the spark that ignites the fire of investigation, heartbreak, and relentless pursuit of justice. It is the start of a journey that will unravel secrets no one dared speak aloud, a journey that begins with courage, ends with revelation, and leaves the world questioning everything it thought it knew. The world believed it had seen the end of Charlie Kirk, but the truth was far darker, far more twisted than anyone could imagine. Candace Owens, fueled by grief and relentless determination, began piecing together the fragments of a story that no mainstream outlet dared touch. Every message, every meeting, every subtle threat became a thread, leading her deeper into the labyrinth that had entrapped Charlie in his final hours. Candace had access to group chats, private conversations, and intercepted communications that painted a harrowing picture. Charlie's once bright demeanor had been replaced by a quiet, simmering defiance. 2 days before his assassination, he told a trusted ally, "I will not surrender. I refuse to be silenced. If this costs me my life, so be it, but I will not bend to their will." Those words, typed into a digital thread, reverberated with a haunting weight. Charlie was a man cornered, facing forces that were invisible but lethal, and the sense of inevitability hung over him like a storm cloud ready to break. Erica Kirk's role in this unfolding tragedy remained shadowed and ambiguous. Was she a pillar of support, desperate to protect the man she married, or was she quietly maneuvering in ways that no one yet understood? Her actions raised questions. Her silence screamed louder than words. Even Candace, who had never doubted her own courage, could feel the tension radiating from Erica's calculated calm. It was as if every smile hid a strategy, every gesture concealed a motive. Meanwhile, parallels to Dave Chappelle's past struggles emerged with a chilling clarity. Chappelle, decades ago, had been pushed to the brink by the very forces that now cornered Charlie. Offers of money, promises of power, ultimatums veiled as opportunities. Chappelle had fled to South Africa to save his life. Candace saw the pattern repeating, a cruel reflection of how ambition, money, and unseen influence could trap even the strongest. Charlie's story was no longer unique. It was part of a cycle that had claimed others before him. Candace uncovered evidence that made her heart pound and her hands tremble. Private chat messages revealed Charlie refusing millions of dollars, rejecting the pro-Israel agenda that donors demanded he enforce. Each refusal, each act of defiance, had isolated him further. He had been offered protection, wealth, and influence, but he had turned them down, choosing principle over survival. "They will not control me," he had typed. "Even if it costs me everything, I will not be bullied into silence." And yet, the system moved swiftly. In the days before his death, Charlie's movements were scrutinized, his schedule monitored, and every interaction recorded. Candace discovered inconsistencies in the official reports, contradictions that suggested a meticulous cover-up. A staged intervention in the Hamptons, orchestrated by supposed friends and donors, had been presented as a benign meeting, but the reality was terrifying. Charlie had been cornered, threatened, and warned to comply or face consequences. Candace, risking everything, shared the pieces she could verify. Images, timestamps, witness accounts, and the chilling details of Charlie's final hours. The narrative was clear. Charlie Kirk did not die by chance. He was silenced because he refused to obey, because he dared to stand against an invisible but powerful network that could manipulate reality with a simple whisper. Every piece of evidence she revealed brought the truth closer, but also danger. Candace knew the same forces that had cornered Charlie could come for her next. The tension escalated when Candace highlighted the discrepancy in the official bullet trajectory. Charlie had been shot at close range, not from a rooftop as claimed. The bullet had not exited, and fragments were recovered in a manner inconsistent with any standard sniper attack. Even Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu had intervened publicly, trying to explain the inconsistencies, a move that only deepened suspicion. Candace's revelations were more than journalism. They were a lifeline, a plea for the world to see the truth before it was too late. She drew the parallels, connected the dots, and exposed the silence that surrounded Charlie's death. Erica's actions, the donor's influence, and the hidden threats all formed a mosaic of betrayal and tragedy. The world had to understand that Charlie Kirk had stood firm against overwhelming pressure, and that steadfast courage could cost everything. Part 2 ends here, but the storm is only gathering. Candace Owens' mission continues, tracing every lie, unveiling every secret, and challenging the powerful forces that had orchestrated a man's demise. Charlie Kirk's story is no longer just his. It has become a testament to truth, courage, and the human cost of standing unflinchingly for principle. As the dust began to settle over the chaos of Charlie Kirk's death, Candace Owens found herself standing at the epicenter of a storm far larger than anyone could have imagined. Each revelation she uncovered felt like a bomb detonating in the quiet of deception. Every person, every friend, and every ally in Charlie's orbit had played a role in the tragedy that had silenced him, but only now was the world starting to grasp the horrifying truth. Candace's investigation revealed that the pressures on Charlie had been relentless. The supposed allies, donors, and influencers had surrounded him with a network designed to break his will. Charlie's integrity had been his armor, but even the strongest can be isolated. The days before his assassination were filled with clandestine meetings, cryptic texts, and the constant whisper of threats that were impossible to ignore. Candace had meticulously documented these moments, each text a pulse in the heart of the story, each conversation a building block in the chilling mosaic of betrayal. Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, became a figure of mystery and suspicion. Her calm demeanor at memorials, her decisions regarding the guest list, and her ambiguous statements painted a portrait of a woman caught between loyalty and self-interest. Candace's instincts told her that Erica knew far more than she was letting on. Every gesture, every smile, seemed to conceal motives that could shift the story in ways no one could anticipate. Even in grief, Erica's actions hinted at a calculating mind, one that had been silently maneuvering behind the scenes. Candace drew chilling comparisons to Dave Chappelle's history, recalling how the comedian had faced threats that forced him to flee South Africa. The parallels were unmistakable. Both men, cornered by power and money, had refused to compromise their principles. Both had been offered vast fortunes in exchange for conformity and silence. And both had been made painfully aware of the stakes for defiance. Candace realized that what had happened to Charlie was not an isolated incident. It was part of a pattern, a dark template of intimidation and coercion that preyed on the brave. The group chat messages were among the most damning evidence. Charlie had explicitly refused millions of dollars, standing firm against a pro-Israel agenda that powerful donors demanded he enforce. "I cannot and will not be bullied," he wrote, the words now echoing like a ghost through the virtual spaces he had occupied. These messages were more than evidence. They were a testament to a man who chose principle over life itself. Candace knew the gravity of what she was revealing. Each disclosure put her at risk, but silence was no longer an option.
I want to say one more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, "I think they're going to kill me." Okay? He did not express that to me, so I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people, and I am saying this because I hope that these people, who I think are good, will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
Candace also uncovered discrepancies in the official narrative of Charlie's death. The bullet trajectory, the supposed rooftop sniper, and the post-incident manipulation of evidence all suggested a calculated cover-up. Candace's instincts screamed that Charlie had been murdered at close range, a targeted execution disguised as a tragic accident. Even high-profile figures like Netanyahu weighed in, attempting to explain inconsistencies that only magnified suspicion. Every official statement, every media report, seemed designed to mislead, confuse, and pacify the public. The stakes escalated when Candace revealed surveillance images and witness accounts showing anomalies at the crime scene. People moved objects, manipulated cameras, and tampered with evidence in ways that defied standard procedure. Each image, each timestamp, painted a vivid picture of orchestration. Charlie Kirk had been silenced, but the story was far from over. Candace's courage became a beacon for truth, and the world began to realize that exposing the conspiracy could be just as dangerous as resisting it. Part 3 closed with a haunting thought. The forces that had orchestrated Charlie's demise were still active, still observing, still capable of silencing the next whistleblower. Candace Owens stood undeterred, her mission clear. The world needed to see the truth.
When a hero stumbles, well, the cowards rejoice.
One of the strangest and most controversial things to happen in the entertainment world. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million? Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
I got a call myself. I was doing sketches that were funny, but socially irresponsible. Like there's this one sketch we did that was about this pixie that would appear whenever racist things happen. Whenever someone make you feel like they calling you that N-word, but don't say it. But the pixie was in blackface because this was going to be the visual personification of the N-word. But what I didn't consider is the way people use television is subjective. So then when I'm on the set and we're finally taping,
understand the sacrifices made, and bear witness to the extraordinary courage of a man who refused to bend, even when the cost was life itself. Charlie Kirk's legacy was now intertwined with her pursuit of justice, a relentless quest that would reveal the hidden hands behind one of the most shocking tragedies in recent history. Friends, what you just witnessed is only the tip of the iceberg. The shocking truth about Charlie Kirk, the betrayals, and the secrets that no one dared to tell is only beginning to unfold. And here's the deal. You don't want to miss a single revelation. If you felt the intensity, if this story shook you to your core, hit that like button, drop a comment sharing your thoughts, and share this video with everyone who needs to know the truth. And yes, don't forget to follow and hit the bell icon, because every twist, every hidden message, every shocking truth is coming right here, and you'll want to be the first to see it. This channel isn't just videos. It's your front row seat to a story that powerful people want buried. Your likes, shares, comments, and follows don't just support the channel. They make sure the truth gets out, loud and clear. So if you want to stay part of the journey, if you want to see what happens next, do not skip a beat. Stay with us, stay curious, and remember, if you liked this story, don't forget to like, share, follow, and drop your comments below. You're part of this mission now, and the next revelation will leave you speechless.